Hey everybody! It's been a while. I kind of took a hiatus, so to speak. But it's been 10 years since I started this channel, and I thought I'd do like kind of an update slash documentary type thing. Um, so back in the early days of YouTube, it was one of those websites I would kind of go on every now and then, and it wasn't until about the early 2010s that I started using it a lot more. And it was also around this time my brother and I started getting into AVGN. We're kind of late to the party, but it's what kind of inspired us to get into like retro gaming, collecting, and stuff. Like we still had our old consoles, but we started adding to them as well as getting consoles we didn't have, like the NES, for example. Like when we had a family when we were kids, but that's a whole other story. Um, Cat's going to town over there. um, so yeah, we became big fans of AVGN. Like I said, late to the party, but my brother kind of took it a step further. He created a YouTube channel, and he wanted it like a couple of years later, and he wanted to become the next AVGN. Which, like I said, we were late to the party. We didn't know that trend came and went years ago. Like I'm sure a lot of you remember the AVGN clone era on YouTube. That's kind of always been a thing with my brother, which, no offense, Aaron, if you're watching, I'm sure you're probably watching this, you know I love you, but that's kind of always been a thing with him. He'd become heavily influenced by someone and be like, hey, I can do that too. Like, around the turn of the century, he became a huge fan of Marilyn Manson, still is, so he wanted to start like a gothic glam rock band, which he never did. Much like me, he tried to make his own video games, like, drawing characters and stuff, levels and stuff. Like, I made a number of videos on that, which, speaking of which, Aaron, you definitely got to make a video on that. Not too long ago, Aaron, his son and I were looking at pictures from this game he was making called Fatal Instinct, which, like, even if it's just that, Aaron, you just got to make the thing with all the characters on it. You got to make a video on that. Well, I'll have the link to his channel below in the description. But yeah, anyway, where was I going with this? So, yeah, he started his channel in, I think, like December of 2013, and after he'd been on there for a few months, it was like late February of 2014. I was like, now that I have seen like an immediate family member on YouTube, I kind of want to make a channel myself. So I did, and I just used the webcam on my laptop, which is probably like 15 years old now or something. And the problem with that was that there was like a delay, and it had like a beeping sound. And where was I going with this? So I got another webcam, like one of those like USB ones that you just plug in Walmart for probably like $15 or something, and that one worked a lot better. But after a couple of years, I decided to get a video camera from Best Buy, with the camera, the memory card, chip, whatever, and the tripod. The whole thing was about $200, which wasn't really much, so to speak. And I used that for quite a few years, but unfortunately I dropped it, and it didn't really work well as much afterward. But I can, maybe if I fiddle around with it, I got my use out of it, and I'm sure if I fiddle around with it, I can get it working again. As for the channel, I came up with the name Random Mark 30087 because, well, my name is Mark, and then because when I was starting the channel, I already knew what I was going to do, like a random mishmash of just this and that, so I combined the words random and Mark together, and then the numbers I think I got the idea from Boogie2988, which I haven't watched him in years. Like, I don't really pay attention to YouTube drama or anything like that. I mean, I'm aware of all the stuff that happened, but it's just like, it's like the German guy from that old TV show, I see nothing. Anyway, so yeah, the numbers, like the 87 is the year I was born. I know I don't look it. At 3, that's always just been kind of a special number for me ever since I was a little kid. I don't know why. And then the 0 I kind of just threw in there. But when I started the channel, I was doing like basically just like improv videos of like one-man shows of like reenacting scenes from like movies and TV shows, and I was doing like lip syncing cartoon intros and things like that. You know, I kind of got that idea from Smosh, I guess you could say, which, even though they kind of moved on from that at that point. And then, you know, I was always talking about like video games and pop culture and stuff, and then I kind of just wanted to focus more on that, like just do mainly that. You know, I kind of retired the other stuff, which I did kind of miss the lip syncing videos, which it's funny. A lot of those were like 30-second videos and stuff, and I was just like, you know, go figure. Then years later, you know, they created YouTube Shorts and TikTok, which I do actually have a TikTok. I know that's not everyone's a fan, but nevertheless, I'll have the link to my account in the description if anyone's interested, because I do a lot of that type of stuff on there that I used to do. Like I said, I kind of missed it, but anyway. So yeah, I just kept rolling with the whole video games, pop culture and stuff. That's what I wanted to say. And then one of the things is, I never really did this for money or e-fame or anything. I just did it as kind of a hobby. But once I started gaining a pretty substantial following on YouTube, I never wanted to have more videos than subscribers. I know, it's just something I felt kind of OCD about, like just something really weird, which is kind of the reason that I slowed down, so to speak. Because I think, as of me making this video, I have like, I think it's 440 subscribers and probably like, I don't know, 350 videos or something like that. And the reason I have so many is because, like I said, I made all those little, like, 30-second videos when I first started the channel for the first couple of years or whatever. And where was I going with this? The other thing is, I always loved doing the game pickups videos, like, and with those, I think it was the third one I did that I opened with like a random quote from Rocko's Modern Life, and I was like, I'm turning that into a thing. Like every video, I'm gonna open every game pickups video with like a random quote from a movie, TV show, or whatever. And it was like, with the game pickups videos for quite a few years, I used to gain like, for each one, I'd gain like 2 to 5 new subscribers, but then all of a sudden something drastically changed, and it's like every time I did a game pickups video, I'd lose like 2 or 3 subscribers, and it's like, what the hell happened? Because that's the thing, and it's not even just me, it's like, YouTube is just so weird. Like, it's like the algorithm, I've seen it destroy some great channels, like, you know, channels of like all sizes, like big and small, medium stuff, and I don't know, the algorithm just like kind of killed their channel, really. It's like, what happened? You know, it's not like they drastically changed their content or anything. You know, they were just talking about the same thing. You know, maybe they tweaked it up a bit or made it more higher resolution or whatever, but that's really it, you know. And it's like, even just as a content consumer, I think the golden years of YouTube were from 2007 to somewhere in 2015. You know, 2016, the site was flooded with high school-like drama. 2017 was the adpocalypse. 2018, they made all kinds of changes to the website. I can keep going, but you get the idea. It's like every year they just do something that's like, or something happens, and it's like, what? Like, for example, 2021, they removed the dislike button. Well, they didn't remove it, but they hid the dislike button from the public eye, and, you know, it's like, why? Because companies don't like seeing their products be ratioed and stuff, or like, or the reason they gave it discourages smaller creators, but it's like, my videos have gotten dislikes, you know, it's like, maybe they didn't like my take on something, maybe they thought the music was distracting in the background, or whatever. That's just how it is. You can't please everybody. You know, then one of the recent things is they started cracking down on ad blockers, which I don't use ad block, and I also don't have anything against people who do use it, because it's like, you know, I understand both sides of the fence. Like, I know ads, are what pay for these websites. You know, ads keep these websites afloat. But I also understand why people get annoyed by them. You know, especially because, you know, over the years, ads on YouTube have become much more rampant. Like, remember years ago when it was basically just like a little rectangle in the bottom of the video, and they just click the X and was gone. That was it. Yeah. But and even though YouTube is like a shell of what it once was, we still use it like on a some of us use it on a daily basis. Well, a lot of people do, but and the reason I think is because there's really no solid competition. Like, again, there's TikTok, but not everybody likes that, and it's like that's mostly just short little mini videos and stuff. And then there's Twitch, but that's mainly live streaming. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not really a big fan of live streaming. And I'm sure other people aren't as either. But yeah, I'll keep making content, probably just not as frequently or as I used to. Because there are some things I want to post. Like something I've always wanted. I always wanted to do a Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis video, because that was such a major part of my childhood. Obviously there's tons of other videos on that already, but I want to give my take on it. Like, probably the most common one is James Rolfe, which that's another thing. This year marks the 20th anniversary for the AVGN character, and I kind of want to do a video on that at some point, just because. I want to do a video on whenever Nintendo unveils their next console. Now there's rumors going around that it's going to be delayed till next year, so who knows when they're going to announce it, like if they do like what they did with the original Switch, where they just did like that 3-minute trailer thing or commercial, whatever. And another thing is, for years, I've wanted to get into stop animation, and a couple of years ago, I finally started, and, because over the years that I always wanted to do it, I always thought about getting, like, some kind of special camera or something, but then one day it hit me, I'm like, with how far technology and everything has come, there's probably an app for it or something. So, looked into it, sure enough, there's quite a few of them, so I did some research, and the one that most people recommended was called Stop Motion Studio. And it's very simple to use. It's free to download and use, and then it's for $5 you get a bunch of bonus features. And it's a one-time payment thing. It's not like a subscription service or anything. I made sure I checked that thoroughly before I hit purchase. But yeah, I love doing it. It's the whole stop animation thing. It takes a lot of time and patience. Especially like trying to get characters to stand and stuff. Like some characters are more top heavy. Like a lot of the videos could take like a couple hours to make, but they'll be like 30 seconds. But it's something I love to do, especially when you see your projects come to life, and it's just such an amazing feeling. I have one video that's, I think, like just under 7 minutes long. That one took me months to make, and what that is I wanted to do a scene like from something like the scene from the hell do you call it, Infinity War, when Thanos is fighting Iron Man, Star-Lord, and Doctor Strange and all them. It's basically that, but instead of Marvel characters fighting Thanos, it's Nintendo characters. And I also threw in some nods from the graphic novel or comic or whatever, which honestly I think is better than the movies. And see, in the graphic novel, there's a lot more characters. Like, for example, Wolverine was in there, and Thanos. Because that was another thing that I wanted to do, was like, in the comic, Thanos keeps incapacitating a lot of these people. Like, he turns he turns his bones into rubber, Wolverine's bones. Then Thanos, he turns Nova into, like, Legos or something. He turns Thor into glass and smashes them. And then another thing is that there's a character called Death that Thanos is in love with, and to try and win her affection, he wipes out half of humanity. So I kind of threw a nod of that into this video as well. Not the one I'm doing right here, the stop animation one. Where it's like Thanos is trying to turn the Nintendo characters into trophies to bring to death. That was kind of like another little nod to the comics that I threw in there. But yeah, I think I'm gonna upload a couple of those to this channel. Because I have quite a few, like I said, most of them are just like short, so I'll upload like some of the 30-second ones or whatever. It's just YouTube shorts, and the 6-minute one with Thanos I'll upload as like a regular video. Probably do that sometime next week. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Like I said, 10 years on YouTube. Wow. But thanks for watching, y'all, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.